a bitch doesn't record a video for like a year and forgets how camera works? Question mark. Hi! It has been quite some time. I feel like that's the only thing that I'm talking about when I come and make videos to post on here. I feel like the first thing I'm saying is, it's been a while. It's been a long fucking time. I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff happening. My life is a lot different than it was a year ago, a couple years ago. And I think I'm finally figuring out what my priorities are again. I started making content a long time ago. Way before you would have known me as kavakitten, way before this channel or my Instagram currently ever existed. When I was 12 years old, I was making videos of webkins. I was making webkins music videos. I had a Kinstagram. I took pictures of my webkins with my fancy fucking DSLR camera that I convinced my parents to let me get. Up until I was about like 19, 20, I have had the proper amount of like energy and like a ton of outlets to express that, right? That sort of changes when you deal with any sort of health issue. We all know I have rheumatoid arthritis. That's whatever. That's bandaged. That's my issue is that I have no energy. There is literally like, I've gotten better slowly over time, but the amount of energy that I have is stupidly small. And the way I explained it to my husband, I was like, I don't have energy to do anything that's like mentally fulfilling to me because I am either busy with like just general life stuff outside of hobbies, or I am sick. And the only hobby of mine that I can do that doesn't take any energy from me physically or mentally most of the time is gaming. So all I was doing for a long time, because I was so sick, was playing WoW. That sounds really bad, but I literally did not have energy to do anything else, so like, it wasn't like unhealthy, you know what I mean? And it's so frustrating because I've come so far in the past 4 years. I am so close to being a somewhat like functioning member of society and like a functioning human, and like that is all I want. All I want. I don't have to work full-time. I don't care. I want a little part-time job. I don't care. I would go work at a little plant store. I would work at like a corner store. I don't care. I want something, and I need like a fulfillment outside of existing in my house. You know what I mean? And I need the energy to do that. So anyways, now we're here. I finally feel comfortable utilizing my social media again, my own social media, right? When you switch genres of like the content that you're making, there's like this weird guilt that kind of comes with it. I don't know if you will understand this if you have never done it or like ran a social media page that's not just like a personal page, you know? When you switch content, when you switch the type that you're doing, you kind of feel guilty because if you built a platform based on something you're no longer doing or participating in, you're like, I feel like I'm letting all of these people down. I feel like I'm disappointing all of these people, and it's really stupid because social media is supposed to be like a place to express yourself and like post whatever you want, you know? And I started this for fun. I started sharing like the cat ears and the pet play stuff once I was an adult, for fun, because nobody really did it. It wasn't a common thing, and I still don't think it's a super common thing. I don't know. Husband, one moment. I told him I'm filming a video, and he's like, well, I love you and I'm on my way home. When this turned into my job, it was really fun, and like I felt like I was contributing something to like my household because I was making money, and I'd never been able to do that before. I had mental health issues when I was a teenager, and then I became like pretty badly disabled at 19. So I have never been able to do that before, and it was a really freeing feeling. But of course, like the amount of success that you have in any like social media industry is very fickle, and I think I got really discouraged when I lost my TikTok for the first time, because I was making money. Finally, you know, I was like, wow, all of the work that I'm putting in is paying off, and my percentage was literally going up every single day, and I felt like I was doing it, you know. I was like, wow, I'm doing something for myself. TikTok got deleted. I lost all of that within like 2 months, and I know there's like ways to, like, everybody would always be like, oh, have multiple TikTok accounts. I did, and I do, and it never worked like that for me. I no longer make that sort of content because there was just something inside of me that was like, nah, I don't really think I want to do this anymore. It wasn't fulfilling in the way that it once was, and I think it was really affecting my like view of my body, especially. So I quit, and last year was the year that I deleted everything relating to that, and I immediately wanted to come back to social media and still like create stuff. I just didn't have the physical energy, and I also had this like looming cloud of anxiety because I didn't want to disappoint people. I'm past that now. I don't care. I am 23 years old. I'm going to be 24 in less than a month. This is stupid. I don't know why I care so much about what other people think. I know that it's related to trauma, but like I don't care anymore. I am the only thing that's holding me back from doing things that I enjoy, and I think that is stupid. So here I am again, and I am going to try and make this an actual priority again. I am a really busy bitch, let me tell you, okay? So this is where it's kind of getting into the life update portion. There's been a lot of stuff happening. Last time that I uploaded a video, I think was last year in February. The main thing I was anxious about at the time was getting my wisdom teeth taken out. Well, I fucking did that, and I forget about it because it was like nothing. It did suck. It's a surgery. All surgeries suck, but like I am fine now. Cool. Had my first surgery, slay. Made myself agoraphobic, pretty much, because your girl's disabled, so like don't really leave the house much. By myself particularly, that was my main issue. So I worked on that in therapy, and now I really don't give a fuck. We're good with that. The big thing, a bitch can drive. I got my license. When I was 17, I was learning how to like drive a car with my parents, you know, normal stuff. I had really bad anxiety at the time. It was some person that ended up passing me, and I was like in the middle of having an anxiety attack because I was like, what the fuck, I'm driving a car. And it was just a really bad feeling, and it led to me not getting in a car for 5.5 years. So I knew that I needed to do that, and I talked to my therapist about it, and she was like, okay, we're gonna do the tiniest baby steps possible. So it was like research, driving instructors, like driving schools, because I knew I needed an instructor that like specialized in adults that had really bad road anxiety. So I did that, and I found an instructor, and he would just reach out when he had like different time slots available, and I would choose them. And the first lesson that I did, it depends on the person, but he said that depending on like their confidence and skill level, some of them won't even leave the parking lot. And the first driving lesson we did, we drove around the parking lot, did some like parking stuff. And then he's like, all right, go out on the main road. And I was like, I'm driving on a 55-mile-an-hour road. So I did that for not even 2 months, I don't think. And he was like, all right, you're ready to take your driver's test. I did not practice parallel parking. So the first time I went to take my driver's test, I could not fucking parallel park. And I was like, bitch, what the fuck? So I cried about that because everybody hyped me up and was like, you're gonna do amazing. Nobody was like, did you practice parallel parking? I didn't fucking think about it myself. So, didn't pass the first time. Did not even make it to the driving portion. Literally just could not park this car. Practiced some more. Went back, and I did fine. So now I can drive. Don't have a car yet because I don't have a job. Like worst case scenario, I'll have a car by like fall or like winter. But it's a sedan, and I learned how to drive in an SUV, and sedans scare me actually because do you see how fucking tall trucks are now? And just like cars in general are now? That's horrifying. No thank you. What else has happened that's interesting enough to talk about? I guess I'll start with like the beginning of this year. So I'll give some context for this. I grew up Lutheran. I've always been religious. I went to a Lutheran elementary school for like 5 years. I don't know if that's like a surprise because I kind of talk about that on my Instagram stories sometimes, but I digress. I do need to make a disclaimer that like just because I believe in God and am religious doesn't mean I am a harmful person. None of my, like all of my viewpoints that I've posted about, all of the like social justice type things that I've posted about, same fucking thing. I have to say that now because of the state of the world. My husband is Catholic and he was raised Catholic. Been Catholic all his life. He kind of started going back to church and I would occasionally go with him because in my brain I didn't see like a huge difference between Lutheran church and a Catholic church. There are differences, but like from the outside looking in, if you don't know a lot about Catholicism as a whole, it does look very similar. I randomly was kind of talking with him about different things and we would just have discussions and he was like, you know, you could go and do OCIA classes. And I was kind of like, yeah, I guess I'm open to doing that because I didn't think anything was going to come of it. I was just like, sure, I'll go take these classes. I don't care. And I was so nervous to go and meet with the church director. And she is like the chillest lady ever. And she's awesome. OCIA usually starts in like September, I want to say. It starts in the fall. I went in late January. And I had to do these like catch-up classes just so that I was kind of at the same like point in the class as everybody else. And I genuinely just went into this not expecting anything. I was just like, oh, I'll learn some stuff cool. I didn't know if I wanted to become Catholic or not. It's funny because I think like I didn't really know the history of like how different denominations came to be, and the main, like the two main churches that they all kind of stemmed from are, well, the main one is the Catholic Church, but the two like original ones that everybody sort of branched off from once they split are the Orthodox and Catholic churches. So up Lutheran, I went to a Lutheran school, blah blah blah. Nobody's gonna teach you about like the main things that are different in Catholicism, right? Because they don't believe in it. So there's a lot of things that are different. There's like purgatory, there's like the real presence in the Eucharist, transubstantiation, all of these different things that I was not familiar with. So I did a shit ton of research. I did a ton of research and I read a lot of things, and I basically did all of my OCIA homework in the first week and a half of like starting this journey. And I was like, all right, cool. I don't think I knew that I wanted to become Catholic until we took a trip to a cathedral, and it is actually a cathedral that has relics of all 12 of the apostles. So that was really, really cool. That was one of the first times that I've actually like felt something in a church. It was really cool. And yeah, so that was kind of when I knew that I wanted to just like go through with the rest of the classes, and thus that would mean that I was likely gonna get confirmed on Easter Vigil. And Easter week, the like Holy Week leading up to Easter, was such a like special experience for me because I got to participate in all of these things that I really knew nothing about. And it is a thing we do called adoration. It is the consecrated host being like, instead of it being in like a tabernacle, it is like there's a special like setup that we did, and it was for Holy Hour, which Holy Hour is based on Jesus saying to the disciples, you can't even stay awake for an hour while I pray or whatever. And 98% sure that I'm referencing the right thing. That was like the second time that I've like actually felt something in like a church service, and it was really, really cool. And it kind of just like confirmed that I was doing the right thing. And so yeah, now I'm Catholic. So like I said before, it doesn't change any of like my like political views or anything. I don't like that I have to clarify that, but I think a lot of people are kind of sus when you are just like, I'm quitting spicy content, and then suddenly I'm hyper religious, which I don't think I'm hyper religious, but you know what I mean. It seems sus, right? Yeah, I also want to make it very clear that I'm not going to be like shoving religious content down anybody's throats. I keep religion very, like, religion is a very personal thing, and it feels kind of performative to me to make content involving it. So I have never done that, and I don't think I will talk about it much. It might be like a slight mention if I'm like doing something and I'm like going somewhere, but like it's not gonna be me making like straight up videos dedicated to like religious topics, you know what I mean? I might be like, oh yeah, I went to church today, you know, that kind of thing. It's not going to change anything here. Yeah, but that was like a cool thing that I did. Oh, the last thing that I wanted to touch on that's like a life update type thing. I changed my major, and I think that also has contributed a little bit to my like confidence in coming back to social media, because this is like my genuine passion, is being creative and like just making something. It's funny, when I started college, I started college because there's like a program in the state that allows you to get an associate's degree for very little money. They cover a lot, and so I was like, cool, I'm gonna get an associate's degree. And what did I go into? Finance. Why? Both of my parents are in finance. I was like, yeah, I think I can do that as a job. What they don't tell you is that accounting sucks. I've done my own taxes before, so I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be that bad if I could be like a tax accountant or whatever. I took an accounting class, which was my major, by the way. I took accounting 1, and I was literally spending like 15, 20 hours a week on this one class, and I was failing, and I dropped it. And then I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that yeah, I switched my major to marketing. I had a couple discussions with like different family members and stuff, and it's so much more me. I'm starting to get back into photography again, which is pretty cool. I think it would be neat to do different things like product photography and then like tie that into like digital marketing. But that's just like an ideal goal. I don't know what's gonna happen. My goal right now is to literally just have enough energy to like work a part-time job, be happy, do my hobbies, take care of my pets, take care of my house, keep my relationship healthy and happy, and like have some sort of independence, like get a car, you know? That's all it is. That's all I want out of life. My big goal is to just get a house with more property. I want property, and I want to be able to have the option to have chickens or like quail or maybe some geese. I don't know. That's all I want. I want a peaceful, chill life. I have missed you guys so much. I've kind of just been like lurking around in the background while I was like depressed and not posting. Happy to be back. Feels very good. Also, did you notice I'm not wearing fucking eyelashes? My biggest like crutch in makeup, I'm not wearing eyelashes. Nature is healing. Nature is healing. I don't have to be perfect to get on camera. My house does not have to be perfect because you can't fucking see it. I don't know what else to say. I have therapy really soon, so I have to end this. If you have any sort of like video ideas or like topics that you want me to talk about, or just like things you would want to see, I have like so many interests outside of just like pet play, I promise. I love thrifting, makeup, skincare, like cooking now, fucking World of Warcraft. If you want to see any of that, just like email me, send it to my email. I'll put that in the description. You can message me on Instagram. I'm trying to get better about checking my DMs. No promises. They give me a lot of anxiety still. I am so grateful that I have this page and that it's brought me so many like amazing people that I've interacted with, and I don't know. I will always find my way back here. Why am I fucking crying, dude? If you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. All of my social media links are in the description box if you want to come hang out with me. I'm probably going to be the most active on Instagram. I am not quite ready to return to TikTok yet, I don't think, but maybe eventually. Yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I forgot to do a ear fit of the day. So these are from Woodland Creature Shop, and they're very old, and they're like rosy gold on the back. And then the tail of the day is from Hoshiikins and has a little speaker.